Hi, I'm Ray Hagar with the Reno Gazette-Journal. Welcome to an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest today might be the biggest name today in Nevada politics, but he's not running for anything. Assembly Speaker Richard Perkins has spent the last few years preparing for a run for the governor's mansion. Then last week, he abruptly dropped out of the race. Today, we're going to ask him why. And on today's pundit panel, we have Bob Barengo, Daryl Capurro, and Bilyeu. That's all coming up next, so let's roll on an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, I'm Ray Hagar with the Reno Gazette-Journal, and today's guest is Speaker Richard Perkins of Henderson, Nevada. Speaker, how you doing today?
I'm great, Ray. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being on, Speaker. The first thing I want to ask you is, you know, you were considered for many years to be the prime contender for governor. And then last week you surprised many of us by pulling out of the race. What were the factors that went into your decision, sir?
Well, Ray, there are a lot of factors that one considers in undertaking such a campaign. First and foremost, you have to consider the impact on family, and we've done that. But, at the end of the day, I felt it was more important for Jim Gibbons not to be governor than it was for Richard Perkins to be governor. And with a three-way primary on the Democratic side, it was making it much more difficult to ensure that to happen.
Okay, now we're down to 2 candidates so far in the Democratic primary. Of course, Henderson Mayor Jim Gibson, who might even be considered your boss, and Dina Titus, the Senate Minority Leader. Which one of these politicians do you feel has the best chance of beating Jim Gibbons?
I'm not sure yet. I think we'll have to wait and see which one puts together the best campaign. I think Senator Titus starts out with a little better name recognition, but as I told everybody in my campaign, at this point, it really is, name recognition is pretty meaningless. The campaign really hasn't started yet. So we'll see, which one is able to gain the most support and put together the best campaign. And ultimately, I'm going to help whoever wins that primary become the next governor in the state.
Okay. Speaker Perkins, perhaps a tough question, if I may. You've been criticized for the 03 legislative session, the great tax battle, for not bridging the gap between Assembly Republicans and Assembly Democrats. Then in the 05 session, many of the issues that you championed, like full-day kindergarten, the lottery for education, fizzled. And then, of course, you didn't do too well with the culinary union. I was wondering if any of these factors were a reason why you did not choose to run for governor.
No, not at all, Ray. I mean, in the legislative setting, you win some, you lose some, and I think that we've won more than we've lost. In 2003, we tried everything we could to find a compromise on the governor's tax package. It came out of a Republican state Senate, and we asked those folks in the Assembly, the Republicans in the Assembly, for any compromise, offer us what it is we could agree on, and we just never got that from them, and I don't think that was ever their intention. But fast forward then to 2005, and we had I was the first one to stand up and say we didn't treat each other very well, and we needed to do that better, and returning some civility to the Assembly was my number one goal, and I think we accomplished that in a significant way by all measures. And full-day kindergarten did get started, and we got a phase-in approach in spite of huge opposition to the program. We did some great things for our National Guard, and unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have some recipients of those benefits. We accomplished a number of other things in this last legislative session. A little bit of rough spot with the culinary union, but we've mended those fences. I've always been a strong supporter of organized labor, and they know that, and we would have had their support if I'd have continued in this campaign. So, none of that really entered into the equation. It was just basically we had three Democrats all vying for the same resources, and what's going to amount to an $8 to $10 million campaign overall. And I just, again, was more important for Jim Gibbons not to be governor than Richard Perkins to be governor.
Okay. Speaker Perkins, during the 05 session, it seemed like you and Senator Titus engaged in a little bit of political sparring. Do you feel that maybe Senator Titus enjoyed this jabbing at you more than you enjoyed it jabbing at her?
Well, you'd have to ask Senator Titus that question, but it's not my style to throw spears at people. And I've always been known as a consensus builder, and one who reaches across party lines and within my own party and across to the other house to try and build a team approach to what we do in the state legislature. In essence, I'm a Nevadan first, and that's how I approach things. So, I can't speak for Senator Titus. She'd have to answer that question for you.
Okay. Now, is your political career coming to a close? Do you plan on running for office again? We were joking up here that the mayor of Henderson's job will probably be open. Do you see yourself in any other position?
Well, I don't know, is the short answer. I've told folks I can't imagine myself absolving completely out of politics. Mm-hmm. Politics is what I enjoy, public policy and serving the citizens of this state. I've been a police officer now for more than 2 decades and served my community here. I was in the state legislature 7 sessions, and I really enjoyed helping people there. So I can't imagine it's something that I won't pursue, but right now I'm spending time with family and catching up on all the things that I missed. Over the course of 7 legislative sessions, I missed a lot of school plays and t-ball games with my children, and right now we're going to catch up with them and spend some time. But, as I told the media here in Southern Nevada, this isn't goodbye, it's see you later. And, I'll be involved in some fashion. There's no question in my mind. Okay,
Speaker, one last question. The Assembly Democrats were solidly behind your campaign. Now that you're out of the campaign, where do all those people go? That's a lot of power.
I don't know. They're individuals, and I'm sure I've had conversations with a number of them and with a number of other folks that involve themselves in gubernatorial campaigns in Nevada, and all have asked my opinion. Apparently, wherever I throw my support, it's going to be important to some of them. And so we'll chat with them, and in essence, I think it's important for us to get behind one candidate and one that we think can win, and one who's going to be a good governor for the state. But the other focus I'll have is helping Democrats win up and down the ticket, and I think that there are a couple of seats that the Assembly Democrats can pick up, and I truly want to be standing there in those chambers when Barbara Buckley gets elected to be the first female speaker in the state of Nevada. That'll be really a crowning moment for me.
Okay, Speaker, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. We have 2 former speakers ready on our pundit panel. Thanks again, and God bless you and your family.
Thank you again, Ray. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, we're back on the pundit panel today, and today we have 2 former speakers. First, former speaker Bilyeu, Daryl Capurro with the trucking industry, and former Democratic speaker Bob Barengo. Gentlemen, thank you today.
Good morning.
First, Bill, what your thoughts on what Speaker Perkins had to say?
Well, it sounded very nice. Obviously, it kind of reminds me of the movie On the Waterfront, you know, when Marlon Brando is talking, I think, with Rod Steiger, you know, I could have been a contender, and somebody, and the power broker said, it's not your time. It kind of reminded me of that.
Okay. Daryl?
I would second that thought. Everybody had the idea all along that he was going to run in that, so it was somewhat of a surprise that he didn't. However, I think some people looked at the polls that showed he was running very poorly in it and decided that he wasn't going to make it. So I'm sure that entered into it.
Bob, what do you think about his problems that he had in the 05 session? You know, a lot of the things that he championed just turned to dust, and then in the last days he got into a big battle with the culinary union that seemed to really sink his entire session.
Well, but that's an interesting question, because what an assemblyman does, even more than what a senator does, really is only confined to the people who know about the legislature. Assembly people, even if you're the speaker, do not have a great name recognition. So even though he may have had a problem, I'm not sure that translated outside to any bad press. It probably translated to maybe losing some support and maybe some money, which may have been one of the factors that he was talking about in his gubernatorial run. But it also, as an assembly speaker, your polling is lower than anybody else's. A senator has a wider range of population, and when the senators run, they avail themselves of television, so they get the whole marketplace. So they have a bigger name recognition to begin with. That's been part of his problem.
Okay, Daryl, you were down in the legislature almost daily this past year. What, you know, you saw the needling between Perkins and Senator Titus. Who do you think did the most needling? Was it Senator Titus or Richard Perkins?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, Ray, that the tenor of the last two sessions has certainly not been something that those of us who have been around, and I've been around for 36 years, would like to go through again. And I would hope that the 07 session would be different. I'm sitting between two former speakers who were champions at bringing the parties together and working out compromises and the like, along with Joe Dini when he was speaker. And so I'm a little concerned about Assembly leadership in that in the future, because it didn't look like there was any attempt to heal some of the wounds that occurred in the 03 session. Unlike what I heard, I didn't see a big improvement in the 05 session as far as that goes.
The quality of discourse politically, as in so many other areas, has degenerated over the years. And I guess it's a great substitute for not thinking about things and really using your brain to resolve issues and resolve differences. We deal now in a world of sound bites.
Okay. Can we hold it right there? We'll be back right after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, safe ride home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe boating campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome back to the Pundit panel. Bilyeu, former speaker, I cut him off the last time, and you wanted to finish your thought about the media.
Yeah, well, in terms of this discourse, in terms of talking about sound bites, that's what seems to be driving everything, and that is fueled to a large extent by the media, who primarily in the area of news these days is really in the area of entertainment, controversy, creating things that aren't there instead of solving problems.
Well, I think Bill, you're walking on the fighting side of me when you say that, but we'll let it go.
Let's go.
You know, back to Titus.
As our former district attorney said, let's get it on.
Well, let's Bob.
Back to Titus. You know, Titus is a good wordsmither.
Yes.
She writes out beforehand and thinks it through. So she's got the good words. She's very good at wordsmithing, and when she says things, she has an intention to evoke a response, and she usually gets it.
Well, Senator Titus actually had an advantage, if you think about it, because she's in the minority on the Senate side. Mr. Perkins controls the Assembly in that, and so she has nothing to lose with respect to her, quote, sound bites in that and the issues that she brought forward. And as you looked at the things that she talked about, the property tax freeze and the like, those were designed to gain small person support for that idea. So I thought she did an excellent job as far as putting forth her position from a minority standpoint on the Senate side, as opposed to the guy who supposedly controls the Assembly.
And Dina really believes what she says, too.
Yes.
I mean, that is, when she says something, that is because Dina Titus believes what she is saying.
Are you saying that Richard Perkins said things he didn't believe?
Well, I'm saying that Dina Titus is at core, she has a set of core principles much more than just being a politician. That can both help and hurt. But either one of them would have had a problem, or will have a problem, in the sense that they're running from a legislative platform, and that's not necessarily the best platform to run from.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
No.
Okay, real quick, I want to start with you, Bob, and go around. Who do you pick to win the Democratic primary if it's between Jim Gibson and Dina Titus? Real quick.
That's going to be very difficult. I think that, Jim Gibson will appeal more to the conservative Democrats and Republicans. Dina is going to appeal more across the Democratic Party and the organization. We will know when we hear what the culinary is going to do, and I'm told the culinary is going to support Jim Gibson.
Okay.
I think that Jim Gibson probably, and I voiced that opinion several panels ago when that question was asked by Sam. I think Jim Gibson has an edge because of his name recognition down there, which his family has name recognition throughout the state. His father was one of the finest senators that I've worked with. And so I would think that Jim Gibson has the edge on that side, and of course Jim Gibbons on the Republican side.
Okay.
No question in my mind, Gibson he has got, insofar as I know, the support of the power brokers in gaming. He'll be better funded. Who'll win is another thing, because Titus is innovative and she's smart.
Okay. Now, do you see any other candidates jumping into this race? I mean, we've had, the Chancellor says he's not jumping in. Maybe he will. He's got a lot of time. Oscar Goodman has a lot of time.
I've heard both of those names already are, gaining support again. So I don't think this is over yet. I don't think that we're going to see two candidates. We may see more. I think it depends on if Jim Gibson, who I did serve with his father, who was a great man, if he gets in early and moves hard, he will then keep the others out. But if he keeps staying like he's doing, making his shadow shows, it may entice others to get in.
Because he's not moving very hard now, it seems to me.
Why peak before you've even formally announced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's true, because I would agree with everything that Bob said. I don't think you can rule out the possibility of somebody else coming into that race. I don't believe it'll be a high-name recognition candidate, though.
Okay. Another thing is that the Assembly Democrats, they have been solidly behind Richard Perkins. Now he's out. Where does all that support scatter to? Who's going to pick that up? Gibson, Titus? There's a lot of animosity between the Assembly Democrats and Dina Titus because of all these lobbing grenades back at each other, from the different houses.
There's obviously a lot of tension between the Assembly and the Senate, regardless of party.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the Democrats are going to be concerned about getting the Assembly Democrats are going to be concerned about getting their leadership, getting their ideas together, and winning in their district. To what extent they can do in their respective districts to help the governor candidate in those districts, that's what they're going to do. Assembly folks are not big aides to help somebody outside their district. They're only good in their district.
They will go wherever they believe their self-interest lies.
Right.
Well, and I think the fact of the matter is the Assembly Democrats have to be somewhat happy with the position they're in, because with the elections last time, the Republican Party is definitely in the minority. In my view, they're not going to make that up and take control. So they're actually in the best position to determine exactly what it's going to be. I have to assume at this point in time that Barbara Buckley is probably the hands-down candidate for Speaker, and so I think she will determine what their agenda is going to be in '07.
Okay, real quick to the two former speakers. Where does Richard Perkins go from here? Now he is also with you guys in a fraternity, being the former speakers. Can he resurrect his career, or is he going to be out for a long time like Kathy Augustine?
I don't know. If I were Richard Perkins and wanted to stay in the public eye, I probably might consider running for Secretary of State, where I don't see any real strong candidates there right now.
Wouldn't that be kind of
Why not?
I mean, a real drop for him? I mean, he was going to be the governor, and now he's going to be the Secretary of State?
Well, some people might think it's promotion, but you know, I have to make one observation if I can. You know, Perkins bashed Gibbons, anybody but Gibbons. Every time I think the Democrats do that or the Republicans do that, I think it boosts Gibbons' stock.
Well, go.
As a speaker, he had a lot of power there. Now, yesterday's mashed potatoes all of a sudden.
Okay,
and he needs to go out and build a base, and he can do that in a variety of things. You jokingly asked about the mayor of Henderson. That's the spot. There's a lot of places he can go and rebuild himself and poise himself for the future.
Okay, we got to stop it right there. Thanks for joining us today on today's Pundit panel.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Abadi Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
Island Inkjet is now open on South Meadows Parkway. Island Inkjet will refill your inkjet cartridges in just 1 hour. We have the ink to precisely match over 240 cartridges, saving you up to 60% on the cost of buying a new cartridge. Our work is 100% guaranteed, and contrary to what you may have heard, refills do not void any printer warranties. You don't throw out your car when it runs out of gas. Don't throw out your cartridges. Refill them at Island Inkjet on South Meadows Parkway by Smith's.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
Hey, thanks for watching today. Tune in for tomorrow's show, too.